fish were in a tank, and one looks to the other and says, "Do you know how to drive this thing?" That felt like a very fake smile. So not too long ago, people were leaving me comments on one of my videos that I was asking for questions for a question and answer, which I'm doing right now. So thank you for anybody and everybody who commented things for me to talk about. I'm just warning you right now that there are a lot of repeated books in this because there's lots of questions that are phrased kind of the same way. So if I'm constantly sitting here like, "Shatter me," it's because I have an obsession. I'm gonna apologize really quick with usernames. I'm gonna try and pronounce them all, but inevitably I probably won't pronounce some of them right. Therefore, if you want to correct me, I'm a-okay with that. Olivias Books asked, who are my top 5 fictional guys? Noah Shaw, Augustus Waters, Noah Shaw, Damon Black, Adam Kent, Noah Shaw. She also wants to know what my top 5 favorite books are, which is kind of hard for me to do because I have lots of favorite books, but I narrowed it down to the very blatant and annoying answers. Fault in Our Stars, Shatter Me, Unravel Me, The Unbecoming of Mardire, then The Evolution of Mardire. Those books I fangirl every day about. My top 5 favorite TV series. I'm warning you right now, withhold your judgment because I watch a lot of weird reality TV. Dance Moms, Honey Boo Boo, Toddlers and Tiaras, Catfish, anything on Disney Channel or Nickelodeon ever at any time. Well, not Disney Channel. Disney Channel kind of sucks now. Then she says, what are my top 5 most anticipated books? Which is easy to narrow down. The third Shatter Me book, The Retribution of Mardire, the third book in the Legend trilogy, which is called Champion, Allegiant, and then I had a 5th one, no I don't remember. Oh, I remember now. Anna Carey decided to do an epilogue for this lovely, lovely book. Actually, it's for this one, but you know what? We get an epilogue. I am so excited! For those who aren't aware, the book ends in kind of like a weird cliffhanger, not really cliffhanger-y, but it's like very vague ending. So we were all like, please let us know. And so she's writing us an epilogue and we're all just kind of wiggling in happiness. And last question from her, are there any types of books you wish there were more of? And yes, I really wish that we had more books out there that take place in a setting that's very, like realistic, like contemporary setting, but fictional villains. So things like City of Bones and the Percy Jackson series where they live in like modern New York, I think this is both of these, and they still have like demons and gods and stuff like that, and I thought that was so neat. And if you know any books like these that do that, please recommend them to me because I am always on the hunt for a good contemporary fantasy type book, if you catch my drift. I'm probably gonna slaughter this name, but the Alice Sama, I'm sorry, asks, are there any series that you've dropped because you lost interest in them? And yes, and you will also see this book probably repeatedly throughout this video. Hush Hush, this shelf is packed. This is a book I did not enjoy at all. I could not stand the main characters. And I read it like a year ago, and I still haven't even contemplated picking up the rest of the series. So I'm done with it. You are cut off. Then she asks, have you ever tried an Alice and Noel book? If so, what was your opinion on it? I have not read anything from Alice and Noel. I looked up who she was, and I realized that she wrote the Immortals series, which I've heard about and I've seen at bookstores everywhere. But I'd never tried it. I'd never really done. I don't think it's even on my to-read shelf on Goodreads, just because I don't like really long series. Then the final question is, what is your favorite trilogy? And that is an extremely, extremely, extremely close tie between Shatter Me, The Unbecoming of Mardire. I think those are the only 2 that I'm incredibly, incredibly emotionally invested into. So yeah, those are probably my 2 favorites, and they are neck to neck in the amount of anxiety they cause me. Michaela Kula asks, what is my favorite thing to do in my free time besides reading? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you right now. Pretty much whenever I'm not reading, I'm laying in bed on the internet. And when I'm not doing that or reading, I'm at school. So I really don't do much else. I have a horse, so I often go and see him. And sometimes I hang out with friends. I don't know, I really don't have any other extracurricular type things. Then she asks, do you ever get into any reading slumps? If so, how long do they last? And this is actually a very good question, because I get into reading slumps at least twice a month, and it's very annoying because they can last anywhere from 4 days to 2 weeks, and it's just a period of time where I'm just so bored and lazy. But yet, whenever I try and read a book, it just makes my boredom even worse, and I have no idea how to cure it. Luna Malfoy 4 asks, what are the fictional main characters you are meant to love but you hate? And I believe this means characters that everyone else loves but I don't like, and I have a ton of those. Patch from Hush Hush, which I just talked about. I thought he was really creepy, and everyone else was like, he's so adorable, but he just creeped me out the whole book. He was like demon version of Edward Cullen. Also Kai from Matched. I fancied him in the second book, but then I was completely done with him in the first and third one. In the second book he was alright, but I just could not deal with that character. Also, pretty much every character in this book was annoying. They're like, Bianca and Wesley were such bullies that I was like, girl, you need some counseling for that anger. Valerie Jean asks, who is my favorite band / singer? And this fluctuates throughout the months. And typically I only have one favorite singer. I don't necessarily listen to bands. But currently my favorite singer is Gillette Johnson. She's so good, and I just recently found her work and I'm obsessed. So I will link some of her stuff in the down bar if you would like to check out Gillette Johnson. And then one of my top 3 all-time favorite songs. 2 of them right now are both from Gillette. One is called, it's French, and I know how to say it when I'm singing it, but I don't know how to say it like regularly talking. It's like Pauvre Corps or something. It means poor heart in French. And then the second one is Flood the Ocean by Gillette. And then my third one is probably Heart Attack by Demi Lovato. What is my favorite movie adaptation from a book? And this is probably either The Hunger Games or Warm Bodies, just because they were very accurate. I don't really care about much else. If they're accurate, I can probably deal. My biggest fictional crush. Noah. What is my thoughts on Twilight haters? Twilight haters aren't really relevant now because it's not even a thing anymore. But back in the day, whenever I was in like 7th and 8th grade and I was reading these books and people were openly like, Twilight is so gay, I think I ignored it most of the time because I didn't want to associate myself with it, because I didn't want to be the one chick that reads Twilight, because in my school not very many people liked Twilight, so I kind of kept them on the DL. But then whenever all the movies were finished, everything just kind of evaporated into nothingness, so it was fine. So yeah, at this point, I don't even care about them anymore. Whenever they were being really mean and commenting hateful things on everyone else's statuses and YouTube videos and stuff, I ignored them. They just needed something to take out on since their Harry Potter was in remission between movies. Because I mean, let's face it, 9 out of 10 people who hate on Twilight are Harry Potter. What are you doing, Dust? There was like, did you see that? Oh, there was like a demonic dust flake. Oh. What's my favorite TV show? Dance Moms. Every Tuesday night, be there, be square. Then bookmarked, I can never say this. Bookmarked Brain asks, name a series or book you've always wanted to read but haven't gotten around to it yet, and why? And most of my books, I've already started at least the first book in a series. So there are no series that I own that I haven't started already. Therefore, some standalones that I need to finish, like just bestsellers that I haven't been able to read yet. And why I haven't gotten around to them? I have too many books and I'm stuck reading all the YA dystopian trilogies. Kelsey Loves Books XO asks, do you prefer hardcover books or softcover? And I really don't have a preference. Paperbacks are a ton cheaper, so if it's like if it's a standalone, I go for paperback just because it's cheaper. But if it's a series that is not finished, I go for hardback. If it's a series that's finished, then either one works. But usually unfinished series, the new books come out in hardback. and I don't want an unmatchy series. That's just disgusting. So it really depends on the type of book, but I do like to go for the cheaper option, which is softback / paperback. Softcover, not softback. That was weird. And then she says, have you or are you going to read the Game of Thrones? I don't know. I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes of the TV show. My friend had me watch them with her, and it's not a bad TV show, so I'm not typically a fan of like the whole like fantasy type things, like dragons. That doesn't particularly interest me. However, the TV show seemed interesting, and I loved the characters and how they're portrayed on the TV series, so I might try it. I think I'd get it in a library book because I don't trust myself to enjoy it, but I'll try to read it. Two Fab Sisters asks, on average, how much do you spend a month on books? This honestly depends on the month. Sometimes I buy only 2 or 3 books. Oh, okay, my camera, I thought it was stopping. It's just me being really still. That was awkward. What was I talking about? Right, sometimes I'll buy just 2 or 3 books, and it'll be like $10 at a thrift shop. But then sometimes I go on Amazon and I'll splurge a little bit, and that may cost $100 or $200, but that's extremely rare. Typically I'm just hopping to Barnes & Noble and getting 1 or 2 things, or going to Half Price Books and getting a handful for $20. So it's usually not a lot, and a lot of it I use my own money if I'm going shopping. Then she asks, do you like to spend full price on books or find them someplace cheaper? I love when I find books that I want to read whenever they're marked down anywhere. So I definitely love finding things that I want to read at Half Price Books, because it's so much better paying $5 than like $13 from Barnes & Noble or Amazon. So I just love spending not that much. Like Bargain Bin on Amazon, I could spend my life there. You could just like pop up a tent and I'd be like snuggling with all the $4 books. Not even kidding, that would be heaven. And then she asks, what was your favorite book growing up? As a kid, it was the Magic Treehouse series. Then as a tween, like 10 to 12-year-old, I loved the book A Corner of the Universe by Anne M. Martin. And then Chansey, I can't remember this title to save my life. It's like Stein of the Moray River or something like that. I'm not sure who writes it either, but it's about a horse who's blind, and it's just, I love those 2 books. I want to reread them so badly. Then she says, who is your favorite male character that you'd love to marry? Noah Shaw. If you could choose any male or female character to be your best friend, who would it be and why? Why is life so hard? I'm thinking of people that would be supportive and fun and nice. In the first person phone, this is not the time for you to sass me. The first character that comes to mind when I think of a person with all those qualities is Kenji from Shatter Me. He is just all around the funniest, most supportive guy in like a ton of books that I know, so he would just be fantastic. Cozy T Reed says, hi girlie, love your videos, you're so funny, where are you from? Hello, no, I love you, thank you, and I'm from Texas. If you can't hear it already, I have a fan blowing on my face because it's so hot in Texas. Retrofy123 asks, what is an overhyped book that you read and thought that it didn't deserve the hype? I automatically think of This Beast, and this won a viewer's choice I had for I think it was last month's TBR. It was something that I had viewer's choice on. And this had 10 votes and 10 people saying this was awesome, Whitney, go do it. So I read it in a day and was totally disappointed. I thought the characters were just mean and I didn't like the story, so What is a bibliophile asked? What sparked your love for reading? Was it a certain book or were you always an avid reader? Now when I was a kid I liked reading. My mom says that I read at a very young age, and I have a ton of children's books to prove that. And I loved those little scholastic things. Do you remember those? That was my childhood. I would spend like 2 hours like going through all the descriptions and reading. Oh, it was great. But then whenever I turned like ages maybe 9 to 13, I didn't read as much, probably because it's that one period of time where it's like you're not quite a young reader, but you're not quite young adult yet. So I could really find nothing that interested me. In 6th or 7th grade, 6th grade I remember distinctly was whenever the Twilight movie came out. And instantly I did not like Twilight because I was one of those people that was like, oh, it's popular, I don't like that. So I didn't see it, but then I was dragged to the movie and I liked it, so I got the book. So this is either 6th or 7th grade, I don't remember, and I read Twilight, and this started everything. If Stephenie Meyer didn't exist, I would not be sitting here, I would not have a shelf full of like 100, 200 books, and none of this would have happened. And I thank Stephenie Meyer every day. Okay, not really, but she was literally like the reason I'm here. Edward Cullen and Bella Swan are like, I love them, man. They make me so nostalgic. I was rereading Breaking Dawn last night, like almost in tears. Like, I remember this. Okay, that was way too long to answer a question, but yep, Twilight got me reading.
Burgerlicious definition make them boys go loco. They want my treasures so they get their pleasures from my